La 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 la, wait till I get my money right.
What is going on, X? Welcome to Quantum Ascend. I got VeChain Vet up on the screen here. I've done quite a few videos on Vet, but we want to make sure I get you guys locked in here for these last few waves of alt season. So looking at this is the monthly chart. I thought it was going to be the easiest way for you guys to see from an Elliott Wave perspective what's going on here. We got a 1, a 2, a 3, came back down on top of wave 1 for 4, and right now we are waiting on wave 5 for alt season. Within that wave 5, we got a goofy count going on down here at the lows, guys. I mean, there's a couple different ways we can look at it because this took out a new low. What it looks like, again, this is the monthly chart, is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make that green. So we had our 5, and now we had an ABC, it looks like here, again, over the last 6 months for a correction. And now we're waiting on our move up. So let me scroll over to the weekly here. It might be a little bit easier to see these waves now. On the weekly, ABC. And as you can see, it's not huge, but we had a wave 1 and 2 in here, right? And something similar happened back here. Wave 1 was up, wave 2 got really close to the bottom. Wave 1 is up, wave 2 really close to the bottom. So right now we are working on a macro 3. I know it hasn't been fun, but that is what's going on. So right now we're looking at 1, 2, waiting on 3, 4, 5 to get us up and away for this macro 5th wave. Now, where are we going? That's the real fun part, right? We want waves 3, 4, 5 for this move. First things first, I'm going to draw fibs over this entire range, going back to 2021. Again, we're really low compared to that high from back there, right? So these targets, I mean, we're not looking full extension targets on this thing. We're hoping for new highs. Let's see, we're down 91% still from 2021. So we're hoping for new highs, but we're going to have to wait and see. Right now, what I want to do is we're going to take this last drawdown here, going back to the Trump pump in December. We're going to pull fibs on that. This whole last correction, oftentimes we'll go a full extension of this last range. Sure enough, look where it gets us. Pretty close to a double top up there. It technically just exceeds that 3rd wave, which would be good enough for a 5th. It would be weak, but it would be good enough for a 5th. And right now, guys, this is going to be the base case here. That is a full extension of this range from where we're currently at too. I mean, we're looking at 1100% of 12x from the current price, right? And it would technically still set us off into a new all-time high. And there is confluence up there. There's a chance it just double tops and rolls over. But for now, this is my primary count. If it ends up short of that high, well, we had something different going on. This was actually a macro ABC. We had our drawdown, and then this thing was a say it goes short, B, C, and we roll over. So we got to wait. Right now, it looks like a 5-wave move. Does look like we'll set a new high. I'm not saying that this is absolutely 100% the only place it can go at 28 cents. It's going to be my primary, but there are further targets out here, okay? And that is something we can discuss if the time comes. If this 3rd wave ends up getting us back up there, great. We are ready to adjust. We can talk about potentially full extension. At this point in time, with where we're at, we're down 91% from 3 years ago. My base case is not a 45x for VET. It just isn't. Market cap wise, $2 billion. That's a pretty decent sized coin, guys, right? At $2 billion. So even a full extension from where we're at, this math will be easier, is we're saying, we'll say a 12x to be safe. That puts us at $24 billion for the market cap for VET, right? Pretty plausible, and we've been there before, back here. So that's what I'm looking at. Now, how do these things typically move in an alt season environment? Well, this 3rd wave, we want to see it take out this wave here, either the top of the ABC or that 5th wave from before, right? We want to see that taken out. Oftentimes, it'll go up to the 1618 of this range, but it's also pretty close to the 382 of this larger range. So right here, like 11.8 cents, be a great spot for us to kind of stop out here for VET. It would then come back down to back test that former high or these retracement levels. So now I'm going to get rid of this so it's a little bit cleaner. Typically in alt season, In this fourth wave, we're going to see a 35 to 50% drawdown. With this being a $2 billion cap, could be closer to the 35-40% range. We're just going to have to look. This high, 33%, to back test it. That's 786, 44%, 48%, 53%. So all of these right in that area that I just mentioned, it could make sense to come back on top of the B wave here. But for the time being, we're going to give it benefit of the doubt. We'll say that we stop in right here, right around like, honestly, 6 cents is a nice round psychological number. I'm looking at that 702 at 6.1 cents. I'm going to say that that's where we're looking for this thing to come back down to back test before going off into its new high. And again, that high would technically be a new all-time high on the price chart. That would technically give us a fifth wave. Okay, now measurement-wise, we saw back here how crappy waves 1 and 2 were. Same thing happened here. That was only a 90% move. But what that does mean is this third wave should be pretty strong. That third wave, 560% or a 6.6x on that move. Beautiful. We'd be happy with that. Drop back down to the 6 cent level and go on our final run up here, 350% or a 4.5x. And that would give us that target up there at 28.5 cents. And that is going to be my base for the time being until these charts prove otherwise, right? Makes complete sense with how this moves. Third wave is the strongest. And then, the way that these go, we said 1618, back test, boom, go. These should be happening relatively quickly. This is a weekly chart. But I mean, if we go over here to this last alt season, you can really see how fast these things moved, right? Let's see. Let me get this thing, date and price. So this third wave here, right? Just this guy right here, there to there. That was 23 weeks and it went 36x, right? We're not looking for that, but 23 weeks, what is that? 5-6 months. I don't know if we had that much time left, but that was a pretty violent move. Even if we just go back here to this first wave, let's take it from the low here to the high there, 17 weeks, and it went 14x. With where we're at right now, guys, right here to that top, like I said, we're looking at a 12x. So it's happened in the past relatively quickly. That was 4 months. And then it was also an alt-season environment, especially right here in 2021. So I say all that to say this. Let's get up to that 28 cent level first. I'm looking for wave 3 up there around 12 cents, bounce back down to 6 cents, and then the blow off to 28 cents. If this third wave gets higher and we're up here or something, great. Let's go back to the drawing board, and we'll talk about some further targets because there are some, right? This whole range, I mean, there's some extensions up here, right? $1 is a nice round number. You see that up here. I'm just, with where we're at right now, saying that we're going to get 46x here is just, I'm not going to do that right now. So what we need to see first is let's get up to this level. Let's watch the double top. Let's watch these areas of interest. And again, if this third wave gets extended, we'll come back to the drawing board and we'll talk about waves 4 and 5 and where these could go. But I don't want you guys to bag hold. I want you to be very, very careful when it comes to this alt season. I talk about it all the time in my Quantum Circle group. 2 daily videos, entries, exit strategies, a private Discord. Link to that is in my bio. But it's going to come down to the macro, guys. Whatever is happening with Bitcoin, Ethereum, the US stock market, all of that plays such a huge role. It's not up to vet. That's what you guys need to understand. The real alpha, the real value is figuring out the macro, and that's why I have that Quantum Circle. Again, link to that is in the bio. If not, I'm just so appreciative you guys are here. If you could follow, like, repost. I want to help as many of you as you can before this thing gets going. This is my 4th alt season. I know what to expect, and this is not any different than it's been in the past. So I'm here to help. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. I'll talk to you a bit later.